Yeah.
Quick question. When you did your physics problem sets, and I'm assuming that there are situations like this where you had an integral that would have just been very hard to solve.
Yeah.
Also, I'm going to turn this away for a second.
Okay.
And you used Wolfram Alpha. Did you ever try and go back and do the work to calculate, or did you just say, like, when you submitted it, you're like, integral computed, like, in Mathematica or something?
Depends on the integral and how easy or hard it was.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for some, I would just say, oh, I did it. Like, I would just say the response, like, the result. For other ones, I would get it to the spot where I could, like, look it up in an integral table.
Mm-hmm.
And then use Wolfram Alpha to just be, like, my integral table, and then put the result in there, and then, like, plug everything back in.
Gotcha. Okay, so with this one, do you think it's worth it for me to try and simplify it more? Or should I just...
I mean, the result's already, like, really simple, so...
Well, that's what I'm saying, is, like, the result is simple once you plug in the bounds and stuff like that and take a limit. But I guess I'm just wondering, like, what do you think?
I don't know.
Because you have more physics experience with me.
Yeah. I don't know.
Alright. Thanks anyway.
Yeah, I'd say do, like, again, like, you can do either one of those.
Okay.
I mean, that looked really complicated, so I don't know. That may be one of the ones where I just sort of give the result.
Okay.
Because you can't give it, like... Because since you can't solve it, like, completely... Like, since you can't find, like, an antiderivative for it, and you have those, like, polylogarithm things, I might just say to skip it, because those are the types of questions, like... I didn't need to use, like, polylogarithms in my classes, so if I ever got to the point where something like that was needed, then I could just use... That's when I would use Wolfram Alpha.
Gotcha. Alright, that's fair.
So if it's that complex, then probably don't bother trying to solve it.
Sounds good, Maxie. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I'll make it like your birthday every day. Oh, hey, Buren. How's it going? Yeah, I've decided that dealing with, trying to deal with, like, OBS and, like, having my different scenes and setting that stuff up has been a lot of work, so I'm trying out if I just, like, don't do that and just mirroring everything. But then it's hard to see the chat. Maybe, what if I have an interesting idea. What if I just put that? And then I go to here, and then not signed in, and then I can look at the chat here. Going well, just doing hours and hours of studying. Oh man, what are you studying for? Yeah, I mean, I know you got all of your stuff coming up. So that sounds exciting. Oh, what's your final in tomorrow? Did you have any finals today? So what I find, I finished yesterday's final in a single hour. Still the same class, hyper-extreme. Oh yeah, wait, you have multiple finals? Because I thought yesterday's final was also the cybersecurity thing. So given that you were watching my stream about building operating systems from the ground up, and that you're a cybersecurity, how much do you know about the language Scala? Scala, whatever it's called. Yeah, practical and theory. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, so you're right. So Scala is a language that there's a couple of backends to it, but you're right that the most popular backend for Scala is that it compiles down to the JVM bytecode. So when you say let's pronounce Scala, that's super useful. Okay, but so when you say it's part of the JVM, like I think what you mean by that is that Scala compiles down to JVM bytecode, just like Kotlin or Java does, in their most common backend, which is true. So what I figured, right, is that I was just doing like the most basic tutorial, and I figured also if you've ever programmed in Java before, you know that you compile programs with like Java C, and then you can run the Java programs with just running Java. So I figured that if I did if I did something similar, so in Scala, like you said, you compile Scala files with Scala C, and then you run it with just Scala. So I figured that if I do like Scala C and then run it like on this file, right? So now what it's doing is that it's compiling it down to Java bytecode. And then if I do Scala, so now if I just do like Scala on it, it'll print out this. But what I was thinking is that since they're both compiled down to Java bytecode, right? Shouldn't running Java, can't I also, instead of putting it through whatever the Scala runner is, I should also be able to put it through the Java runner, since I figured that they're both the same thing. And I get these errors here. So I'm just trying to figure out, see, I have this bad habit, as you have probably noticed, is that I get super duper off topic with things. So yeah, so I was just trying to learn some basic Scala, but now I'm stuck trying to figure out why I can't run Scala, like things compiled to Scala, because if you look at like the name, it also compiles to like .class, so it compiles to .class, just like Java things. Right, in terms of the .NET ecosystem would be Visual Basic, F#. I've never heard of F#. Yeah, so I actually don't know what this file is. That wasn't there before. Maybe that's from like Java not working on it or something. I don't even know what that means. Is a functional program quicker for some solutions to develop, and then C#. I think it's more preferred for data-oriented tasks. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. So I know what that is. I can probably just remove it, but so yeah, so it's a .class file. So I'm wondering why I can't run it just by doing that. So I Googled it. Oh, so the reason is that while they both run on the JVM, which is why I thought, oh, then you can just interchange them. They do have their own standard libraries. So how can I find the path to the Scala library? Scala object. Oh, son of a bitch. I guess I can just search for it, right? Like, I don't think that's asking what I want. Interesting. That's different to the .NET ecosystem. When you compile in .NET to your DLL, any language can call CodeFront, compiling to exe. Well, it's an exe, so it can run on its own. Don't need to execute command. Okay, I don't know anything about that. I mean, I think it's probably the same thing that all the JVM languages can probably call code for each other. They just need to have the libraries needed to work with it. But maybe like... So I'd figure that's probably the same thing. So what is this? So why doesn't this work? Not found type Scala object. This is probably what I'm looking for. Let's see what else it comes up with. Because I'm figuring that this is probably symlinked somewhere. Oh, it's probably symlinked here, is where I'm guessing. But let me just make sure that that's where it is. Oh, what? Oh, is it in like /user /libexec /lib /... Yeah, what's in this directory? Ah! So it looks like not much is here. Just kidding, there's a lot of stuff here. So what if I did find /user /libexec? Oh, it probably has to be /user /local. That's what I'm guessing. Because I think this is read-only. Man, I'm having no luck with this. Well, okay, I found that, obviously. I mean, I guess I could be wrong. Is it possible that Brew would install it in just one location? I don't buy that. I feel like it should... I feel like it would put it here and then symlink it somewhere else. I think they would need the libraries .NET is different because you don't need to manually do that's what .NET automatically something. Oh, that's very cool. Okay, so I didn't know that about .NET. Anyway, you're working on the Linux from scratch inspired me a little to do it in the future kind of thing. Very far away in the future, but I don't care. Dude, for sure. And then if you decide to do that, like, you shouldn't, like, hit me up if you have, like, I don't know. The thing with Linux from scratch is that it's very, like, personal. So there's not always, like, a lot of, like, it might sometimes be difficult to, like, reach out to people and try to, like, figure that stuff out. But I think it's But like, well, for a lot of things there is. I think maybe more as you get like deeper in though. Like the deeper in you get into it, the less you have in common with other people. But anyways, that's beside the point. Like you should totally do it. You'll learn like so much. And now I'm doing like the exact opposite. I guess I just don't feel like working on it tonight. Actually, I do kind of feel like working on it tonight, but I kind of want to do this too right now. Okay, you know what? In the meantime, so if I run this, it doesn't work, but what does CP do? ClassPath specifies a list of directories, jar archives, and zip archives to search for class files. ClassPath entries are... Okay. And then if I run... Oh, hey! Okay, that's awesome. So I guess this is just all the library things. And I guess the problem here is that it's like... exception in thread main. Oh, no class def found. Oh, yeah, there you go. I wonder if it works the other way around. So what's a basic Java program? Like I'm trying to remember Java right now, and I should definitely know it. What is it? Public static void. No, you have to start with the class, right? So it'd be, is it like capitalized? I feel like it's something dumb, like it's capitalized, but I don't know. Or maybe it's not. Public class, and then I guess like basic. Somebody let me know if I'm like doing this totally wrong. So public class basic, public static void main. Is string? No, string isn't cap. I think string might be capitalized or something dumb. String args. And then system.out.println. Hello world. And then this doesn't have to return anything because it's void. Okay. Oh, wait. We ran into a problem. Oh, okay. Never mind. What the heck is this? Install Google Java Formatter. I don't want to get that error every time. But anyways. My cam is 100% opaque again. I can fix that. How does this work? Filters, Alright, I don't know how to do it. I can just delete the camera though, and then copy it from another scene. So if I copy it from this scene and paste it. Now if I go to filters and I crank down that opacity. Do I have to save it or is it just saved like that? Yeah, okay, I guess that works. Looks kind of weird though. Why is my computer so hot right now? It's not, it doesn't normally get this hot when I'm streaming. Okay, the temperature went down a little bit. It's still hotter than normal. Anyways. So if I do Java C, and then I do Java, it should just print. Okay, so here it is. So now if I do Scala basic, will it work? Oh, hey, look at that. So what's interesting is that I guess like some of the code in like, so I guess parts of, it's hard to tell because it's such a basic program, but it seems like parts of, I guess like the Java libraries or whatever that it's calling is backwards compatible or like forwards compatible, whatever, with Scala. But then Scala can do some things that Java can't do without calling the Scala libraries. Okay. Well, that was fun. Alright, let's learn some more Scala. So cover okay. String is caps in Java. Yes. Is a class of the same name as a file and then a public-sided void main. Okay. So let's jump back to here. Okay, so we covered classes earlier. So now what are case classes? So Scala has a special type of variable called a case class. By default, case classes are immutable and compared by value. You can define a case class. So a case class is just a class that you can like figure out if they're equal to each other. Because like normally, again, I don't know about Scala, but I know in like Java, if you have like two objects and you try to like set them, if you try to check if they're equal, that doesn't actually work because in Java objects are just pointers. So you're actually comparing the pointers and you're not comparing the values. So it looks like what a case class is that it's similar to a class, but you can just see if they're equal like that. And you can instantiate case classes without the new keyword. Oh, so it looks like a case class is similar to like a type def in C. Does that sound accurate? I could imagine that. Case classes. So if I have case class point and it has x, which is an int, and it has y, which is an int. And then I have val point is equal to well, another point is equal to point 2. Oh, sorry about that. I say they're structs instead of classes. Yeah, it looks kind of like a struct. Well, I guess that, what did I say? I said type def. Well, those are sorts of similar. I mean, you can type def a struct or something. I actually don't know if C# has an equivalent to what I'm talking about. Okay. So now I can define things like this. Can I also define it by saying, like that? Okay. So I can say if point is equal to another point, then I can print line point plus I gotta stop backspacing like that, but else print. Oh, what the heck? Yo, this is like messing me up right now. Okay, there we go. Why is this taking me so long to write? That's the question. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so let's run this and see what we get. So Scala C methods.scala. What? How could anything be deprecated? So is what this is saying is that in order, since I'm adding a point and a string, it's doing an implicit string conversion on point. And that's deprecated. So does it want me to do like point? So how do I fix that? By the way, this is like the official Scala documentation. I feel like they shouldn't point deprecated features in. So do they want me to go like this, string? I don't even know how to call a string in this, but like that? Would that fix it? Error, value point is not a member of object string. Did you mean join? So maybe if I did point to string. I forget if, I think it's a function. Oh yeah, that does fix it. Okay. Well, I'll just keep one of them in there for reference. But warning, method any toString add. It's weird. It says that specifically the part that's deprecated is the plus. Oh, Buren, good point. Has the word to, which is a verb. Yeah. That's very something you should learn about in like basic class, you know, like in a basic intro to comp sci class. Or maybe in like OOD too. Implicit injection of plus is deprecated. What is this talking about? Well, what does this mean, injection of plus? Is that talking about like in C++ when you can have like operator overloading? Is this some sort of thing talking about how like the plus operator is... Whatever. That's fine. I'll just keep going. But anyways, I was able to compile it, so now I can do Scala methods. Okay. If point print line. I'm a very slow typer tonight, and I don't know why. Okay. So now let's do this again. Scala C methods.scala and Scala methods. So there's a lot more to case classes that we'd like to introduce, and we're convinced you will fall in love with them. We'll cover them in depth later. Okay, so I will go back and do that later. Yeah, probably warning about operator overloading, considering Scala doesn't require you to explicitly define variable data types, so that might be why it's deprecated. I hate JavaScript because of that automatic conversion of types. You should try out like strict in JavaScript. I hear that alleviates some of those concerns for people. Okay, objects. Oh, here we go. Objects are single instances of their own definition. You can think of them as a singleton of their own classes. What? Oh no, I didn't mean to. Okay. You can think of them... See, I never took any sort of object-oriented design class, so you can think... So that's weird, but I do know like what a singleton, or at least I know the word singleton because my roommate told me about that when he took the class. So if an object has to be a singleton, that means that like you can only have one instance of the object at a time, which means you can't make like so like why would you want that? I mean, in Java that's certainly not how it is. I mean, in Java, in order to make something a singleton, you have to go out of your way to sort of do that. So that's sort of weird. I forgot how I started this file. Okay, so... Oh, wait. Where do I define this? Like, which scope should I define the object inside the main method? Or should I do it inside this? Or should I do it... I guess now I can do it outside of everything, right? See, this is kind of confusing. I wonder, can I just put it anywhere and it'll just be in that scope? Or is it... You know what? I'm going to just use the interpreter for right now, since that might make things... Okay, so I can say object ID factory. And then private var counter equals 0. Def create int. I think it's cool how it's like sort of the syntax of Scala. How in some parts of it, it's sort of like a fusion of like C and Python, or I guess like Java and Python. But Java takes a lot of stuff from C, but like the idea how it's like you have like the curly braces, but you don't have any semicolons. So that's kind of weird. But you also have like the word def. So whatever. And then it's also some things kind of like JavaScript. Is JavaScript like that where you can do like the colon and then say the type? I think, or is that Swift? Maybe it's both. Anyways, counter plus equals 1. And then it returns counter. See, the thing is that I can't use my Vim key bindings, and that's a problem. Okay. So now I can go here and do val new ID int is equal to ID factory. So if I run this, I get 1 and 2. Now that's very cool. I'm honestly blanking. Is that how Java objects work too? Because is this... Oh, no, it's private. Oh, I think that's what. If this didn't have private in front of it, would a Java object work the same way? Because, I mean, because is this like a global variable inside the ID factory scope? Maybe I'm confusing that also with Python. Oh, geez, I didn't realize how confused I was. That's a JavaScript thing. Java also has curly braces without semicolons. Oh, JavaScript does not have a colon and type. That's typical of the new in Rust. Nor does it have def for function definition. It's Python. If it did not have private, it would have a default access modifier instead. I don't know what a default access modifier means. It's an encapsulation thing. It's like, if I run this, it'll probably be the same, right? I'm just wondering like if this was Java. But the thing is that I don't know if I remember Java well enough to like actually try to write a Java object. How do you write Java objects? Should I just go totally off the deep end? And just like look up how to do Java objects? Oh, looks like I've been here before. Oh, that's weird how they're defining the object like in the class. This is more classes than like objects. I mean, I know that like an object is a class, but I was looking at like constructors and things like that, you know? Just give me some code, man. Okay, this is sort of what I was looking for. And this is not a Java learning stream. This is a Scala stream, so I will shamelessly copy and paste this time. I already had a Java file, right? This will just be my junk file. So here I have, I'm just trying to remember how this works. So you have public class dog. Okay, you make your instance variables. You said the word. Oh no, you didn't say that word. Okay, and then you have your constructor, which, okay, public string. Okay, and then you have your constructor and you have your methods. Okay, I got it. So my question is, if I do something similar, if I have an int counter, right, equals 0, and then I did this dot counter plus plus. You can do that in Java, right? This dot counter. Hey, what's your problem, man? Okay. And I don't actually care about anything else. None of these are private, right? See, I know that technically I should have like a to counter function, right? But I don't have time for that, so I'm just gonna do system.out.println. What do I say? Counter equals plus Tuffy.counter. And then I'm gonna make a new dog, call him Riley, and that's going to be a new dog. What do I have to give it? Name. Okay, I'll just copy this. The name doesn't matter. Let me just change the name. Okay. So here we go with that. And now let me do this. So system.out.println counter equals. Oh, is that a problem? Okay, it looks like we're all good here. So if I do Java C basic.java. Oh, of course. Or okay. Whatever. Dot slash okay, so if I do Java C dog.java. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Can somebody explain this? This bullshit right here? Whose fault is this? Is this Z Shell's fault? Is this MV's fault? Is this Java? Is this Java's fault? Because there's this double standard, and that's super annoying. I mean, obviously I can just fix it by like moving it to like a temporary name and then like changing that, but like, isn't that ridiculous? You would really benefit from several months of learning. Or if you want to understand what with classes, static versus non-private versus public versus other, etc., etc. Getters and setters versus direct access. I probably should, yeah. I would probably really benefit from that. But I'm graduating this semester, so that's a Java thing. Class file name is supposed to be the same as the file learn. Well, I know that. No, I'm saying the problem is that if I try to run dog.java, it says it has to be called capital D dog.java. But then if I try to move it, it won't move it because it's saying they're the same file. All right. So is this move's fault, or is this like Z Shell's fault, or is this like a file system thing? But that's the point, is that I can't rename it. And obviously, if I wanted to rename it, I could, because I could just like make it a temporary name. Like I can rename it to dog.java1, and then put that to dog, and then just move that to the right thing. But isn't that crazy that like it won't let me do that? Like, is there a thing for this? Force and no collaborator not override an existing file. Yeah, what the heck? Okay, see, look. This is what I'm talking about going off topic. Again, I could fix this very easily by just making it like an in-between name and then changing it, but no. I'm going to figure this out. MV and are the same file. Have I literally had this problem before? Capital, or I'll just say case. Case. The same name directory. Yes. All right. Okay, I don't care anymore. What the heck is? Okay, I'm just gonna do what I said before. Okay, now I can do Java C. Okay. So this didn't work then. How did it? Because how did it work in Scala? What was this? Objects? Oh no, I was working on it over here. I said var counter is equal to 0. So this is different then. What if I made it public? Yeah, you're right. I actually have no idea what any of this stuff is. So now I'm just embarrassing myself by not knowing basic Java. But like what if I made this public? Public int. Would that make a difference? So making it public doesn't change it. Is there like a global keyword? Maybe static. See, I don't know what these mean. I'm just throwing in Java buzzwords to see if it does what I'm thinking it should. Oh, there it is. Oh, I did it. Okay, does it also need to be public for that to work? I'm sort of like going backwards. Oh. Okay. So that's interesting. So if I make this static, what it does is that I know I should know what static means, like what it actually means, you know? But in this situation, like I should have like a global definition for what static means, but in this situation what static does is that it makes a variable like the same across different instantiations of the same object. So which is different than Scala. Because Scala, I don't have to say static. Can I make it not static? Like, what's the opposite of static? That's not a thing in Java, is it, right? It's not static if you don't say static. Is static a thing in Scala? Okay, I guess not. What about public? Well, no, that won't fix it. Oh, if I said private? Oh, no, it was private before, right? And that doesn't change anything. See, isn't that cool? We're learning things. I learned something, but I don't quite know what it is. All right, back to work. You can access an object by referring to its name. That's okay. That's like super strange. But what if I didn't want to have this behavior? What if I wanted each time I made a thing, it would like be different? You know what I'm saying? I guess I could use a class, right? I don't know what yeah, so I guess I could just use a class and that would probably do it. Oh, so let's do this. So if I did class, what's another factory? Belt factory. Oh, you know, something that is different about, I guess, okay, let's just say it takes nothing. And what I have is that I have this private var counter is equal to 0. And then I have, you know what, I'm just going to copy and paste this. So if I have this in here, do I need to have like, no, this is fine. Okay. See, so I can just copy and paste this. And now if I have, well, new belt is belt factory dot create. I just want to see if this works first. What? Value belt factory. This is probably something dumb I'm doing. Oh, okay. So the idea is that an object. So this is something that's interesting. So, oh, because I have to make a new belt factory. Is that what this is saying? So I can't just say equals belt factory dot create. I actually have to like, okay, so if I have val bf is equal to new belt factory. Wait, how the fuck does this work? I'm sorry. Excuse my language. Okay, well, this doesn't take anything. And then if I do print line bf dot counter, is it because it's private or something? No. Alright. I'm probably just not thinking about how the difference between classes and objects are. So it looks like in order to use a class, so I say class this doesn't take anything. So, and then I can have a def in here. And then how am I calling it? So I'm calling val bf is equal to new build factory. And then I'm calling the function. Actually, this looks right. Okay. And it doesn't even show line numbers. So thanks for giving me these helpful line numbers that I can't use. Scala dot this dot and does not take parameter. Does not. I'm not giving anything parameters though, right? So why did okay? I don't get it. Why does this work? All right, we're doing some dumb debugging right now. But if I just had this. So if I just have this and I run this, it'll print this fine. So what if I just change this to where I put in a variable, right? And then in here, I say, and now you're saying this isn't going to work? Wait, this works? So then I'm just doing something really dumb. Oh, the difference right now is the return. Because right now this is returning nothing. Does it have to return nothing? So what if I wanted this to return counter? First of all, why is this even returning counter if I said that this is like unit? Actually, why is this doing anything? Okay. Undefined. Great. Oh, there we go. Okay, I just did a bunch of disgusting things, but it ended up working. So then why doesn't this work here? So I'm doing something similar here. Okay, let me see. I guess that was a difference. I don't understand what I'm doing in these two things that are different. It has to be something simple. So I have a class. This stuff doesn't matter. I'm making a counter and setting it equal to 0. I have a def, and then I'm returning it. And then what's the difference between calling this? Isn't that weird that this isn't working? You know what? I'll just be even dumber. I'll go and I'll literally just change this like one by one. So first of all, that's not a thing, which makes this not a thing, which makes this not a thing. Okay. So now this doesn't take anything, which means this doesn't take anything, which means this doesn't take anything. What? What's left as the difference between these two? Except like the literal empty print statement. All right, I'm confused. Because I honestly don't see the difference between these. These look exactly the same. Unless I'm being dumb, which is possible. It's late. Alright, and then how am I calling this? Alright, you know what? I'll just change more. Oh, is it possible that create is like a reserved word and then that's going to do something different? Oh, wait, I have to change it here. Ah. Did I crack the case? Is it specifically because of the create? Does this create mean something? I'm guessing, and that means that create has to mean something in Scala. It's some kind of reserved word. Okay. Well, assuming that's the problem, I can just call this something. And say something. Alright, so I don't need this anymore. I'll just call it count. So the way, okay, so this is the difference. So it looks like objects are like a singleton, right? So there's no difference between any of them. But it looks like when I make a new class, it is a new class. And again, objects aren't like that. Because if I say, okay. So it's weird, because I guess what you call an object in Java is more like a class so what you call an object in Java is a class in Scala. And then what you call a singleton class in Java is just a regular class. Or is just a regular object. I mean, I guess there's other differences too. Okay, but that's cool. Alright. Let's move on. Actually, I want to see something. If I make like this public a thing in this language. Okay, public's not a thing. Public's not a thing, but private is. Is static a thing? No. Private's a thing. Well, that's not going to help. So I wonder how I can make this like global. Is global a thing? No. I wonder how, if there's like, I guess if I wanted to make a singleton, I could just use object. But if I wanted to like, you know, make my own implementation of it in Scala if there was a way to do the same thing, to make this like shared across everything. Because we just figured out that in Java you could use static, but it doesn't look like that's a thing. Oh, so I don't know. Okay, let's keep going. Traits. Traits are types containing certain fields and method. Multiple traits can be combined. And you can define traits. You define traits with the trait keyword. So trait greeter, def greet, name, string, unit. What? Traits are types containing certain fields and methods. Multiple traits can be combined. Okay, I don't know what that means. Maybe I should look at the examples. But then this looks sort of like, what's it called? A case class, right? Or maybe not. No, it doesn't look like case classes can have, like, defs in them. So what does a trait look like? You know what? Maybe I'll just code it and see what happens. What are my things called? Methods dot. Okay. I forget how to start things. So if I have a trait greeter, and then, okay, so it looks like I'm learning something here. So in Scala, it looks like this just doesn't return anything. So is that what's going on here? Traits just like, this trait just does literally nothing. Because what I would think is that in order for it to do that, I would have to like go like, oop, like that. But it looks like if I just say this, that's the same thing. Let's find that out. There's such file at class and classpath. What? No such. Sorry, you're back. Mother's power supply fried itself? A power supply for what? Oh, geez. That's crazy. Did this work? It worked. For a computer, please run your fans down and accumulate dust. That's crazy. Oh wait, let me make sure that traits.class exists first of all. Oh, that's the problem, is there's no traits.class. But then that raises the question, why isn't there a traits.class? I can't imagine. I know I'm just going to run this for like the 10th time and it's not going to work. And then it's like, oh, why didn't it work? All right, time for Google. Scala C, not making dot class. Son of a motherfucker. You're right. Okay, actually, let me just jump back in here now. So I guess that, oh, this is just one line. That's cool. So how do I make a greeter? You can extend traits with extends keyword and override an implementation with the override keyword. Oh, I can run this? Oh, that's a lot of stuff. Okay. So first I start with trait greeter. Then I have class default greeter. Ugh. And then I have a class default greeter that extends greeter. Then I have an... Okay, this isn't the same thing, but I can still see how it works. Well, at least in this example here, they don't make a new greeter. They're only making like... The only like variables they're making are things that like are classes that extended it. Is that a thing with traits? Is that you can't call them directly? You have to like extend it from a class? Like there's a thing like that in Java too. Well, I guess it's not exactly like that in Java, but Java you have what's it called, like abstract things or whatever, where it's like you have to like inherit from it in order before you can use it. Again, I haven't done any of this stuff since I was like a sophomore, so it's been a while. Anyways. And then it just gets rid of like browser. Okay. So what's... Well, I've been doing that. All right, what's next? Unified types. That sounds cool. In Scala, all values have a type, including numerical values and functions. The diagram below illustrates a subset of the type hierarchy. Okay. So it looks like out of nothing, everything comes. Can you imagine that? Isn't that sort of like, isn't that sort of deep? Out of nothing comes everything. So it seems like for the anyval thing, those are all like the normal like data types, like the basic data types that would come with a language, right? Is string in there? No. Actually, I don't see string anywhere in here. I'm just wondering if string would go under the anyval or the anyref. If it's like Java, then string is an object, and that would go under anyref. I don't know if it's like that, which is why I'm asking. Okay, so, oh, you know what? I should have just read it. Scala. Scala type hierarchy. Any is the super type of all types, also called the top type. It defines certain universal methods, such as equals, hash code, and toString. Any has 2 direct subclasses. Oh, so you know what? Maybe I was thinking about this the other way around. Okay. But everything actually inherits from any. I guess I was just thinking of the... Okay, I thought the arrow meant things coming out of it. But actually the arrow means... like, extending it, right? Or inheriting from it. So any val represents value types. There are 9 predefined value types, and they are non-nullable. I don't know what nullable means. And then unit is a value type which carries no meaningful information. There's exactly 1 instance of unit which can be declared literally like so. That's it? I can literally have Scala code and write this and it works? No way. That works? I can't believe it. Anyref represents reference types. All non-value types are defined as reference types. Every user-defined type in Scala is a subtype of anyref. If Scala is used in the context of the JRE, anyref corresponds to java.lang.object. Here's an example that demonstrates that strings, integers, character are all objects like every other object. I thought you just said they're not objects like any other object. Because I would say an object, like every other object, would be from anyref. You know, would be like from java.lang.object. But whatever. Val list. List any. See, I don't know what this means. Okay. So let's say. So val list. Oh, I get it. No, this is simple. I'm just being dumb. So we have a list. And the type of list is a list that contains anything in it, right? Which is the top. And that's equal to a list of, so a string, an integer, carry true, anonymous function returning a string. Let me go back a second and remember the syntax for those anonymous functions. So here you say x and the type. So you can say val add 1 is equal to x int, and that returns x plus 1. So here it's just nothing. Oh yeah, like what they have here. Huh. Cool. List.forEach element, println element. What does this mean? Oh, I get it. So it's making like another like lambda function, and it's just saying that you're gonna call each element. You're gonna call the name will be element, and then you're gonna print each element. So I could switch element with anything. It defines a value list of type list any. This list is initialized elements of various type. Each instance is a type of Scala.any, so you can add them to the list. Here's the output of the program, a string. Okay, cool. Actually, I just want to play with one thing. I noticed here that it prints out function. Which I mean makes sense because I guess that's what it is. It's a function, but I am just wondering if I I what do I want to do here for dd, and then if I go ahead and paste this here, What? Traits, money, lambda. Okay, so I'm guessing, is this the location? Or is this the location of that function? And it doesn't actually just say function, but whatever. What I was wondering though is if I do this and instead of doing print element, oh no, this is gonna give me syntax errors, right? If I do this. And he does not take parameters. Except this is pretty much what I wanted to do is that instead of printing function, I wanted it to actually print an anonymous function that returns a string. But I guess I can't do that. Because in general, those things can't do that. Like in general, something under any doesn't take arguments. Which is different than what's here, because here I could do that. Like, okay. So what if instead I just said list? I don't know if that's a thing in this language, but if I said list -1, then this. Well, before I do that, let me just see if this prints out the same thing. Value does not take type parameters. See, now I'm actually confused about this. I just want to get the elements from here. Maybe I just have to say, how many elements are in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, is that all I got to do? Oh, you would need to be able to call it from the list. So if you index into the element where the anonymous function exists, you can call it with the parentheses. Oh, hey, great minds think alike. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. But I don't know how to access that element. Isn't that how you would do this in Java? If it's an array. I guess a list is something else in Java, right? A list is like, I forget if that's a superclass of the array. And I don't know if that works the same. Well, what sorts of methods do we have here for list? Like list.get -1. Scala list. You know, I'm surprised there's all this stuff about lists, and nowhere does it actually talk about how to access things from it, which I'd feel like if I was somebody making a list and documentation for a list, I would find that's pretty important. I don't know what the heck immutable .list is, but maybe that's the same thing. Didn't I already try that? I think I already tried that, but see, I tried that. See, I said 4, but then it gave me this error saying it doesn't take type parameters. So if that doesn't work, then this definitely wouldn't work, unless I'm wrong. Yeah, see, I already tried that and it didn't work. Takes parentheses instead of square brackets? That's crazy. I don't believe you. Wow. That's crazy. That actually, I don't like that at all. Because that makes it think that it's like a function, right? So But that doesn't make any sense. Because list here... Wait, I'm trying to think how that could make sense. No, that can't make any sense. But I'm just trying to... Why that... That's very confusing. Because when you make it like when you put it like this, it makes it of course lists are functions. You can model any mathematical function as a list, and you can model any list. Well, okay, I get in like a sort of like functional programming like theoretical thing. No, you're right. I get what you're saying, Strager. By the way, what's up, man? I'm just saying like it can be modeled as a function. It's just weird that it is modeled as a function in this case. Because normally, since we're like defining, it's hard for me to explain, but like hopefully you guys should see why it's weird, because here I'm defining list as like here I'm just defining list, right, as this thing list, right? So here it's just, so what I'm looking at here is that I what is it, vi, or how often do you subscript into lists anyways? I don't know. So it makes you think then, if you're passing a value into it, you know, that you're then passing it in like this, which is sort of weird because like what if there's other things you could pass into it? I think it makes more sense to have the square brackets. I don't know. I'm too tired right now, but if I was more awake, I could definitely explain why that's weird. Code is too tiny to read? How's that working out? Is that any easier? Okay, whatever. I just don't like that. But anyway, so now motherfucker. Why doesn't it print this? 1, okay. This is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is 4. Hello? I'll just get rid of that because that's kind of confusing. In math, you index arrays using a subscript, not using function parentheses. So even math has different syntax for indexing and function calling. Ah, there you go. Yeah, you're right. So even in math, there's different syntax for indexing and function calling. But with this, there isn't. And I don't like that. List 4. Okay. Whatever. I'm moving on. Because that's just so... Actually, wait. I'm not... Because I still can't figure out why it doesn't call the function, right? Because this, the value of list 4 is a function, right? So now I want to call that function with this. But it's saying any doesn't take parameters. Well, I'm not trying to give you a parameter. I'm just trying to call whatever this is. Am I referencing the right thing? Oh gosh, yeah. Unless I just had a crazy idea. Okay, wait, why does... I was thinking it might be like 1 base instead of 0 base. Don't do the parentheses after the 4. No, I think I already tried that and it didn't work. See, that didn't work. Well, how the heck do you do that? To make it a function type? Is this like more difficult than I thought? Because I don't know, that seems like something that should be kind of easy. But maybe it's not. So I'll comment that out for now. And note that that should probably work. But you're right. But you're probably right, Strigger. That's what I'm thinking. Oh, I think what it's giving me when I print it is that I think it's probably giving me like information about it. Like I think this is probably like the address of like where it is in like memory. Probably not like working memory, but probably like... See, again, C is something that I know at least more than this. So I can see what this would probably be is that this would probably just give you the section in like the binary, like where that function's located, I'm guessing. And then here, you're right, it probably is something like a hash because here it's traits, which is the name of the file, right? And then I guess the delimiters are the $signs. And then, so it's in the traits file. It's of type lambda. I know what this 89 stuff is, and then it's this. And I also don't know what the at is. Interesting. Okay. Anyways. Message. Oh my gosh. Unban. Oh, it says you're not currently banned. Okay, I don't know Scala. So what, is that like Java or something that you're thinking that from? Okay. How do I undelete your messages? Because for me, it doesn't even say that it's like... It doesn't even... Huh. Whatever. Your guess would be... dot as instance of... Would it be as instance of string or would it be like as instance of function though? You know what I'm saying? Whatever. No fucking way you've never written a line of Scala before. Shut the fuck... No, what? Get out of here. Dude, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Alright, well now I have to figure out what this means. Okay. So as instance of... And then here I guess I put the type. Oh, and the type here is... Yeah, so the type, I mean, as you can see here, the type definitely is unit to... is unit to string. Okay, so that makes sense. So then I'm finished with the as instance stuff. So now it's a string, and now I can just call it. Yeah. If I want a moderation, I do it myself as if you had anybody in your chat. There was a time. Yeah. Wow, that's really cool. Thank you. So that makes sense. Because it's just sort of like an empty function that doesn't do anything. But how do you know as instance of? In C, imagine lists for gives you back a void star. You need to cast it to a function pointer star. In C, that function type would be const char star. That's true. Okay. Good stuff. Thank you so much. All right. Anyways, now let's look at typecasting. So value types can be cast in the following way. Oh, what? Oh, that makes sense. Oh, that's, oh my gosh. Oh, I love this part. So val face. I don't know if this is gonna work because I think emojis are like two characters long. So what if I do print line dumb? Yeah, that's what I figured. So that doesn't work. I guess this is actually like a single character long or something. Oh, come on, please. Yup. You're right, Viren. 9786. I wonder, is this also 2 characters long? Like, what about this? This is pretty basic, right? This might be 1 long. Anyways, casting is unidirectional. This will not compile. That makes sense. You can also cast a reference type to a subtype. Nothing and null. Nothing is a subtype of all types, also called the bottom type. There is no value that has type nothing. A common use is to signal non-termination, such as a thanks or an infinite loop. That makes sense. Null is a subtype of all reference types. Null is provided mostly with other JVM language and should never be used in Scala code. We'll cover alternatives to null later in the tour. I can't even see what emoji that is. Oh. Well, how do you find all those? Nice. Oh, that's interesting. Why is it here? It's saying that it's 9731, but you told me it's 2603. Is that because like one of them's like Unicode and another one's a different thing? Oh, 2603 is hex. I gotcha. Okay. All right, what's next? Classes. Class and Scala are blueprints for creating objects. They contain methods, values, variables, types, objects, traits, and classes, which are collectively called members. Types, objects, and traits will be covered later in this tour. Defining a class. A minimal class definition is simply the keyword class and an identifier. Class names should be capitalized. No constructors defined. However, you'll want a constructor and class body. Here's an example of class definition for point. Oh, geez. It's almost midnight here, and I have class tomorrow. All right. So I'm going to hop off now. Because it's pretty late. Let's see if there's anybody I want to raid with you two. So first, let's look at the people I'm following. Is there anybody I'm following that's cool? No, all the people I'm following are lame. So let's look at these categories. Let's see. Yeah, nobody really cool is streaming tonight. So let's just raid somebody random then. I'll just raid the first person here on the science and technology thing. Hello? Well, I feel like they'd be lame for you guys. All right. There we go. All right, see ya.
As far as I'm aware.
Yeah, 10 Strong says ID is not good enough for cross-border change. So yeah, interesting. Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Where are we up to?
I think we are caught up officially.
Talisman says aroused as the new appalled, so he's changing the definition of aroused in the dictionary there. That might be closer to the actual thing. Yeah, and we've been raided as well by a party of two from Vega Rock. So thank you very much for joining the front. I hope everyone's having a good day.